Hello, lads. Let's give this a shot. Gonna do a voiceover here for this one. Honestly, not sure what I want to talk about for this video, but I know for sure one thing I don't want to talk about, and that is back training. I feel like I've made so many videos discussing back training that it's just incredibly repetitive. I just say the same thing because I have the same views on back training that I've had for years. So let's not talk about that. To start off the workout, on all my upper sessions, I will start off with abs and calves. And that's really the only special thing to point out here. I'm going to put the sets and reps for all of my movements. If you want to give the session a try or just have a feel for what I'm doing in the session, that stuff will be on the screen. But talking about more interesting things, let's see. F1 was today. So, I don't know if anybody here watches F1, but I got asked the other day when I was live streaming, like if I have any hobbies outside of bodybuilding or what I do outside of bodybuilding. And my main one outside of bodybuilding that I've been doing for, way before I even started bodybuilding was gaming. So I'll probably talk about that at some point during this video. And then my other, I wouldn't really call it a hobby, I guess, but I've been getting into F1 over the past year and a half or so. Heidi got me into it, and we watched the whole Drive to Survive series on Netflix, which was honestly really, really good. I think it's a great introduction to F1 for people who don't know anything about F1. So we learned a ton during that series, got to know a lot of the drivers. And after we watched that, we were like, well, damn, now we don't have anything to watch. How do we watch F1? So we researched and looked into that, and it's like, oh, well, the only real way you can watch it on TV per se is in other countries, because they actually broadcast that. But as far as the US goes, you don't really have access to that kind of stuff, or if you do, they play it at really weird times because F1 is designed or catered towards the UK and the European countries, because that's a majority of the fan base. So we got the F1 app, which is honestly awesome. There's so much stuff on the F1 app. You can watch, I think, every race from 1970 onwards. And we do that occasionally too when there's no actual race happening. If there's a 2-week break, or they're on the 3-week summer break, or the end of the year break when they have their 3-month break, we'll go and watch, all those kind of archived things. You have tons of documentaries on there and too. So it's a really great app for anybody who is into F1. If you're not into F1, I'd encourage you to watch Drive to Survive, and that might get you into F1. But continuing on that topic, Silverstone was today, and man, it was a wild one. I feel like it always rains at Silverstone. I guess that's just how it is in Britain. It's always gloomy over there, always raining, rarely sunny. And I think the last 3 or 4 times we've watched Silverstone, it has rained, and today was no exception. And this was the wildest Silverstone that I've seen personally. I mean, from lap 1, there was just safety car after safety car, people spinning out left and right, crashing, people going off the track. I mean, there was one point where Leclerc was just straight off-roading his car. It was just hilarious. Ultimately, though, it ended up being a really good race. I was pulling for Max to win because he did get pole position, and Max is my favorite driver. For his mentality and his competitiveness and his skill. That's why Max is my favorite driver. He just has that champion mentality that you can tell. It's like the same mentality or feel that you get from a Jordan or a Kobe, guys on that level. whereas Lewis obviously has that, but I don't think it's to the same degree, even though Lewis, is technically won more championships than Max. And I never really got to see Lewis in his prime, so maybe that's what Lewis was like during his prime. But either way, I was pulling for Max to win. Ultimately, didn't get it. The way they set his car up was not to plan on the rain, so that didn't go well for him. He dropped all the way back to 10th, and I fought his way back to 5th, actually, which was pretty impressive. But, ultimately, I think Max is, he's out of the Drivers' Championship this year, and there's no way Red Bull is winning the Constructors either. I think McLaren is just hands down going to take both of those. They're just super dominant this year. They're just continuing their dominance from last year. Either way, I really enjoy watching F1, so that goes back to that question I had about, what are my hobbies outside of bodybuilding. I think F1 is becoming one of them. I don't know if you can really consider that a hobby, but, overall, like, motorsport is something that I find myself very interested in. Not so much cars, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not like a car guy, but motorsport is very interesting to me. It's the competitiveness and everything that goes on behind the scenes. So I could consider that being one of my hobbies now, I guess. But it would be, it's something newer that I'm getting into. Now, if we talk about gaming, that is something that, man, I've been doing since before I started bodybuilding. And honestly, man, if I had to I already made the choice to like go all in on bodybuilding. But if you were to ask my younger self, which one, if I only had one to choose, I would 100% have chose gaming over bodybuilding. Man, I think I've been playing since, I'm going to date myself here, but like I think I really, really got into games like during when Ratchet and Clank came out for PlayStation. And then, man, when Halo came out, and then Halo 2. When Halo 2 came out for Xbox and I got Xbox Live, oh my God, I was just a degenerate. So many hours. And just pure obsession with the game. That was the same for Halo 3 as well. It just fed my competitive need, I guess, because at that time I had stopped playing competitive sports, and it filled that competitive void for me. So Halo 2, God, I can't remember what level I got to, but it was very high. Halo 3, I think as I've progressed, or as gaming has progressed over the years, getting to the top ranks has become easier and easier. So in Halo 3, I was level 50 was the highest you could get, and I was level 50 in I think 4 or 5 different playlists: Team Slayer, Team Snipers, Team Skirmish, and Rumble. There might have been another playlist in there. But yeah, man, gaming has been a huge part of my life. And it's something that I honestly see myself doing probably forever. After Halo, let's see, Gears of War was another huge one for me. I was really into the Gears 1 multiplayer. I think that was their best version they ever did. I was top 15, I think, in the world. That's back when leaderboards were like not hacked like crazy. And again, I had so many, all these games I'm talking about, I had well over 10,000 hours in. I was just obsessed with gaming. And on top of that, it's easy to be obsessed with something when you're also like extremely good at it. Went from Gears of War to, God, I'm trying to think what dropped after that. I don't think there was another big game for me for a little while. I was kind of just playing random stuff. And then Destiny, when Destiny 1 dropped, oh my God, that was all these games have like these huge, they're like monumental points in my life. It seems like I can always, like when a game drops, I can know exactly what was going on in my life during that time. Those are like the markers for my life, whereas other people are like, I don't know, maybe when they graduated high school, or when they went to a certain college, or had their first kid, all these kind of things. Like those are their milestones. For me, my milestones have always been like this certain game dropped and I just no-lifed it like crazy. Like I think if anybody listening to this ever played like World of Warcraft when it first came out, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. I never got into World of Warcraft because I knew my tendencies and I knew that like if I got into World of Warcraft, probably some some bad stuff was going to happen in terms of where I was able to take my life to. So Destiny 1 dropped. Man, I have so many memories from that game. I actually formed like a lot of lifelong friendships with people online, which sounds crazy, right? But yeah, I mean, I have friends that I still talk to to this day that I've never even met in person, but we played so much Destiny together that it's like we know each other. We know everything about each other's lives, even though we've never met each other. So Destiny 1, yeah, that was another huge milestone. Another game where I put just an incredible amount of hours into. Man, I could probably talk about that game for hours and hours, like all the memories I have on that. The first raid, doing Trials of Osiris, the first Nightfall strikes, like getting the highest rank in the game, basically before almost everybody else, all those kind of things, like getting your first exotic drop, getting your first exotic quest. Man, that game was like life-changing in a way. It was so amazing. Then I think the next big one was Warzone, and maybe because I'm older at that point, it didn't feel, I mean, it was still a huge like milestone. I think it's another like milestone in my life, and I think it's probably also because COVID happened at the same time, so you have these two huge events. But COD was like the next big game for me that I took really serious and put a lot of hours into. And now I'm kind of like that with Marvel Rivals, but it hasn't given me the same bug. I'm still really enjoying it, but not to the level of those other games that I mentioned. So this is the last exercise here, bicep curls. So hopefully this ranting isn't getting on anyone's nerves and you guys can relate to some of the stuff here, but I thought I'd touch on some of the hobbies I have outside of bodybuilding. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.